What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 10 of Sculpting the Giga. We're just continuing now with shaping in the muscles and the tendons and bones. So I'm just using that draw brush again and just continuing to fill everything in. And I actually start working with the clay strips tool just to kind of define the muscles. A lot of like what I'm doing right now is just me kind of imagining how it would look. I definitely am not a person that studies anatomy or anything like that. So I'm just going with what feels right. There might be like a muscle I'm missing on the thigh or the calves that I just don't know about. So I'm just kind of winging it and doing what feels natural. As I'm working on this forearm, you might see some like weird stretching artifacting, I guess, when I work with the brushes. And I believe that's because I don't have enough topology to add in that extra detail that's required of the brush. So, especially under that armpit area, when I was working on it just a few seconds ago, it was kind of like warping. So I just smoothed it back out and left it alone. And I believe I read somewhere that the multi-res modifier is like really tricky. I'm noticing a lot of quirks with it, especially since working on this dinosaur. So before you actually work with the multi-res, it's to my understanding that you want to make sure your topology is the way you want it. Because if you go back in and start adding edge loops, especially when you've already started sculpting, it will basically mess with your whole sculpting look, and the multi-res will make it look all like messed up and stuff. So just to let you know. As I'm looking at this now from the future, I definitely wish that I had modeled the fingers and the fingernails a little differently. I felt like I could have really added in some more structure to the joints of the fingers. So I definitely regret not doing that better. Now I'm just adding in the lines where the neck would kind of crease in as if the dinosaur were to be animated. It would kind of like lift its head or pull it down, and then, those, I guess, wrinkles or folds will move and make it look more realistic, I guess. Another regret of mine is not adding more supporting edge loops towards the tail. Uh, because when I start adding in the alpha brushes, it starts to, there's not enough topology again to support the detail of the brush. So you'll see in the next video or the following video that that becomes an issue. Speaking of regrets, um, one thing that I regret not doing sooner is after modeling the mouth is closing the mouth and making sure that the teeth don't collide and basically intersect with the skin. So I'm already so far ahead of this video and the modeling and stage and stuff like that, that it's not really worth my time to go back in and do that. But if you're still at this stage, I recommend you close the mouth and just adjust your teeth before you start sculpting any detail in of the mouth. Just a learning lesson. I'm definitely going to be more aware next time. After this is kind of just a ramble video, I guess, but after modeling so long, I haven't actually been able to really work with animating just because my iMac just, I only have 8 GB of memory. So even sculpting with the multi-res on a level of 6 is really hard for it. So shout out to Johnny. Thank you so much for helping me build my PC. I just got a new one built and he walked me through it, which was amazing. So I'm hoping to kind of expand my skill set and start working with animating because I think it will really benefit my modeling and how I approach certain aspects and probably approach things in ways that I hadn't before. So that'll be good. I definitely know I lack in topology. So again, I think the animating will help me realize how my topology affects the model overall. So anywho, I'm going to stop bagging on myself. It's just some self-critique. And shout out to Johnny again for helping me understand how to. I've always wondered how to model something to scale. So this dinosaur is right now, I think it's like super small. It's like maybe a few inches tall. I don't know. But he showed me and explained to me how I would actually go about scaling my blueprints and then being able to have the model proportioned correctly. So that I will start incorporating into my next modeling venture. So yeah, that'll be good. Here I'm noticing that the stomach is, it needs to be much more rounded. It looked kind of like a teardrop before. And I believe I plumped up the thighs a little bit too much. So I'm going to go ahead and start smoothing them out. And for that, I believe I'm using the deflate tool to just kind of deflate those legs because they're a little thick. So I said before that you want to make sure your topology is correct before you start sculpting with multi-res, and that's still true. However, I really needed to go in and adjust the legs in the stomach, and I couldn't do the adjustments through sculpting because when I go to bake, it'll get all messed up and stuff. So you have to make sure the topology on the model's correct. So even though if the sculpting suffered with the multi-res, I can go back in and just smooth it out. I'm so early in the stages of sculpting that it's not really a big deal to me. I like to use the Draw Sharp brush. It adds in like the just little fine lines of detail. I'm just manipulating that sharp brush in a way that I imagine the arms and legs and the head would move. So I would just kind of curve it around that muscle. Just going in the feet and toe area here and just adding in some extra detail, again with the sharp tool. If I remember correctly, a lot of this detail actually ends up getting lost when I apply the um, alpha brushes. So I think in future, if I want there to be a kind of finer detail, I think I'll need to be a bit more aggressive in terms of the strength that I use. So maybe increasing the strength might allow that detail to come through a little bit more than it did. Just kind of imagining here how the wrinkles of the neck would look. I know it looks kind of strange right now, but I'm hoping that it turns out nice. I honestly can't even remember what it looks like anymore. This part here with the neck, I found a little bit strange, kind of tedious to work with, just because I'm trying to add in like the neck wrinkles as shown on some other references besides the one that's in the UV image editor. So this one was a little bit tricky. I think I kind of pulled it off, but it's not the best result in my eyes. So you can see in the bottom right hand corner, the multi-res text was like super blown out, and that's because of my power save add-on. I don't know why it bugs like that, but it does. So it's not a Blender thing. Here I was kind of thinking of how the neck would kind of have that extra skin hanging by the chest area. If you think about cows, that's the only thing I can think of right now because I live on a ranch, but they have like this extra flab of skin. Not quite like this, but you get the point, hopefully. As usual, thank you so much for watching my videos and continuing to leave really wonderful comments. Really means a lot. And I'll see you in the next video. We will continue adding in that detail until we finish it up. So have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, and we'll see you then. Take care.